The Mercedes E-Class Coupé is today on Autogefühl, your number one resource for in-depth car reviews and your number one community to discuss cars. Where's Thomas? We're going to take a detailed look on the exterior, interior and the driving experience here with the E400, the strong petrol engine. It will be a stronger version later on, but we will tell you everything about that, also comparing it to the C-Class Coupé and to other E-Class versions, sedan, estate and also E43, E63. Everything you need to know about this very car, also different variations and colors we will show you now in full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go! I think we are quite even in the opinion when I say it's one of the most beautiful coupés now on the market, but also one of the most expensive ones. At least in Germany it starts already about 50,000 euros and well, that's pretty much. Oh, you maybe heard the air suspension working there, more to the three available suspensions later on when we drive the car. First here at the front, there are two versions available, Avant-Garde and AMG-Line. This is the AMG-Line, but both have this very beautiful diamond pin grille, horizontal fin, and this has really some massive 3D effect, very beautiful. This is my favorite grille. Sometimes in the, for example, C63, there's this dual fin, and so I more prefer an E43 or this one here with one horizontal fin and the 3D diamond pin grille. Really great design, and you can already see the car sits quite low, 50 millimeters lower than the E-Class sedan. All E-Class Coupé variants, they come with LED as a standard equipment. This one, however, the multi-beam LED, this one adds the special high beam function. 4 meters 83 or 15 foot 8 is the total length of this vehicle. Yeah, and it's a pretty long coupé, and there's also a big difference to the C-Class Coupé. There you're more in the mid-size segment here. This one here, upper mid-size segment. Avant-Garde comes with 17-inch rims. This here, the AMG-Line, comes with 19-inch rims. Those ones here, the optional 20-inch, and they're protected a little bit by this tire lip. So that's very well done in those Pirelli tires here, because you cannot damage them that easily. Then AMG-Line, in general, a sportier line. Here with a chrome frame around, I would also go for that one. I think more elegant. However, there's also the so-called night package available. We will soon show you different colors and also how it looks like the white one with the night package, where you then have black chrome frame. And here the classic coupé ending. What a beautiful form language. Is not too much design lines, not too much playing around with the design. Really classic here, strong shoulders forming, light shadow dividing. So I really like it. Do you? And now the rear, and big difference to the E-Class sedan, or the E-Klasse as we say in Germany, is here. Those taillights here really horizontally drawn, and wow, with the crystal structure inside, such a beautiful work, very interesting. And the sedan more has those vertical taillights, or the limousine. This one here is really characteristically now for all Mercedes coupés and also the convertibles. E400 it is the entry version in the US and already a big petrol engine in Germany or Europe. Those exhausts here in the rear are fake, however, they're just pretty small inside here, and the Formatic logo also on the other side. So because the E400 is always coming together with all-wheel drive and also the 9G-Tronic automatic gearbox converter, and we'll take a more look in detail in the front there. What do you say about the rear? I think overall, very good design. And now to some more colors. For example, here emerald green. You tell me which one you like best. And here hyacinth red, a very strong red. I think this one fitting to the Coupé. And here again our main car in the direct comparison, because here this was diamond white, a little bit bright, and also with a normal chrome frame, so without any special dark package. And in contrast to this, matte white, cashmere white, also feels matte, and this one here equipped with a night package, so black mirror caps and also black frames around the windows. Which one do you like best of the two white cars? And finally another color, Aragonite Silver. Wow, this one I really have to get used to. Is it maybe your favorite color, or would you also rather not pick that one? Of course, there are even more colors available, but those were the colors here on location. I hope you enjoyed this small color tour. This is the car key, the current generation of the E-Klasse. I think it's very beautifully done and slim. Then the door, you see the windows here, as we do not have a frame, Coupé or convertible style alike. They fold down and up again automatically. But now I will show you some very detail, which Audi has figured out very well, but Mercedes not yet. But first, instead of the doors, here we got the red styling, AMG-Line. Well, I think it's, special. Let's take it, it's special. All the buttons here, galvanized, very good quality. And here, this graphic here of how you can adjust the seat is always great in design as well. Seat heating, seat cooling, but you won't need it in the basic setups. More to that soon. As a sound system, I think it sounds good and clear, but not as good as in the sedan. Probably in the sedan you have maybe more speakers. Maybe that's the reason. Then if we lower the window, we can also do it with the key. By the way, the comfort function. If you just hold the opening button, see, it's open, close, and open. There we go. Hold it, and then it's that you can get in and out the car in a comfort way if you're in narrow parking spots. And then it gets interesting, because here when I close the door, that doesn't sound too good. And it's not because they have bad engineering or something like that. It's just when the windows are down, they're like wobbling inside the door. And most recently in the Audi A5 convertible, the new one, what have Audi engineers done? When you open the door, even when the windows are down, the window raises a little bit up, and when you then close the door, you don't have this rattling sound, but a real, true, good sound. So that's maybe Mercedes engineers, if you've seen that, you can actually learn from Audi. But now, the other way around, what can Audi learn from Mercedes? The seating setup. This here, the optional animal skin equipment, which I do not recommend. But the good thing is, with the E-Klasse Coupé, standard equipment would be on the inside with the AMG seats here, microfiber and outside leatherette. And the Avantgarde would be inside fabric and outside leatherette, which is the best option, because fabric, you can have the best climate function. You don't need seat heating, you don't need seat cooling. Microfiber already better than the animal skin, of course, but microfiber can also get a little bit hotter than fabric in summer, but not as hot as animal skin. It's good that Mercedes goes for this as a standard. It depends on your market. You have to check that out. Sometimes in the market you might get a full leatherette options. For example, in the US they often offer a full leatherette option, by the way. This is the seat cooling, but I'm deactivating it now. Here again inside of the door. And this car sits 50 millimeters lower, as I said earlier. Place the key in the middle console here. And you do feel that you sit lower than in the E-Class sedan in general. Of course, very wide opening here if you also lower down the windows, pretty spectacular. Very comfortable seats for sure, so the seat form itself. And as I said, Audi can learn from Mercedes. Mercedes does offer more choices of sustainable materials in their cars. And just to remember, the leatherette they call MB-Tex in the US or Artico in Germany. And the microfiber is called Dinamica. So Dinamica is a competitor of Alcantara. So, you know, that's two brands. So it's microfiber and then Alcantara or Dinamica, the two brands, actually the companies that produce it. Here with the steering wheel, you can adjust it electronically in all four directions. So you can find your comfortable seating setup. And it will be a good long-term car with a great look on the outside. That's, I think, the key element. We will also have a special motorway part driving later on where we explain you more about that. Interesting here with this LED illumination and also another speaker for the Burmese sound system. The sound is great, but not as great as in the sedan, as I said, with the highest spec of the 3D surround. Then panoramic roof available. First of all, you can close a shade if you're living in a very hot state, for example, in the US. Then you can also open the roof, so that's also possible. Takes some time, of course, but leaves a lot of light in there. And the next step would then be oh, what's that? Interesting. The next step would then be getting that's the maximum. Next step would then be getting the convertible, which will be here in Autogefühl, of course, at a later stage, and we will surely also enjoy that. And now the cockpit overview. Mercedes still follows this design language of sensual purity. That means on the one hand sensual lines, you know, those curvy lines, but then purity as you got some overlapping, for example here, and that everything stays clean at the same time. And I think it's really one of the most spectacular and beautiful interiors. Of course, there are interiors that look cleaner and more simplistic. This one is really creating a wow effect. The vents here are special for the Coupé, where they're different in the sedan, and soon more details to that, detailed shots. And you see here the dashboard laps a little bit over in the top because the screens should be kept a little darker. This one, the dual screen setup, is the top trim or the top option. You always have to go for them optional. You do not have to get them. And I think it is actually a reasonable solution also to get the analog gauges in the front. And then the smaller screen here, I've seen it once and it still looks really good. So you can save a lot of money by this. We will show you the options you have here, but you do not have to get it necessarily. The steering wheel, pretty compact with a good grip, and then functions for both thumbs that you can control the right and the left screen. So right thumb here, left thumb there. But that does not work with Apple CarPlay. So as soon as the CarPlay is activated, those buttons do not work anymore. One reason not to use Apple CarPlay. It's not really handy. Also the normal GPS you can see here gets deactivated as soon as you go for the CarPlay, because you could use a GPS function there. Then in general, I think it's better to have the phone connected via Bluetooth and then use all of the different functions we have here in abundance. And also in the middle console, which is pretty big, got some AC controls, an analog clock, and wow, a matte wood style. There are different styles available, also aluminum or piano lacquer, but this one here, the matte wood, is the best because it feels great. And also here it probably can do a car SMR episode with that. Car ASMR, you know. Does anyone get that? ASMR plus car SMR. And it looks also very natural, so I would definitely go for that one. Storage spaces here at the inside of the doors. You can also place some bigger bottles. The glove box slides down smoothly, so not too much space in here, but you also can optionally get the perfume spender, well, if you really need that. Then Also a practical net. For example, the co-driver can put the phone there and then have the cable right connected to the middle console. And you can open that one. Nice mechanism. This one is also the connection for the smartphone mirroring, and this would also be the space here for the inductive charging. And finally, adaptive beverage holders. There you can close it again. And the middle armrest, always with an interesting concept here. 2 more USB supplies, but they do not connect it to the car system. They are for charging, and it's good that you can pick if you want to connect it for the infotainment or just want to charge it. This is a car where you can talk so much about. For example, here again, a detailed shot at this, shot at this matte wood style. So beautiful to look at and beautiful to feel. And those unique vents, you can check out our E-Class sedan episode later to compare which one do you like more. Is really well crafted. It's almost like it would be flying in there. And clicking they do when you open and close them. So that is open, and close would be. And also refined clicking sounds. So those ones are the digital instruments on the left. As I said, you can also get analog gauges. Basically, you control everything with the left thumb then, and you can wipe with your left thumb, and here control the menu, for example. Design would be, if you go for different choices, I like the one we are showing at the moment, but there's also sport available, in yellow style, or also classic. This one looks a little bit old school, let's say it. And then you can also, if you have chosen your design, then you can, hey, I want to have my progressive again. There we go. So, and then you can also go for different content. For example, what you want to hear on the right display or on the left display. And for example, also get the GPS information on the right, like this, or also on the left. So, freely configurable. And then there's also a head-up display. You can also adjust the height yourself. Speed, for example, and speed limit is displayed right there. It's just very sharp in a special angle, so maybe adjust your seating position then accordingly if you think it's too blurry. And the central infotainment screen, you can control it also with your right thumb and go to menus and stuff. This is possible. The GPS with a great map perspective looks great. Then you can also use the central turning and pressing knob in the middle console, so different ways to control this infotainment system. Just touch is not working, but you have at least 2 ways, and also for the driver, the one with the thumb is a pretty handy solution for sure. Then what else is interesting? Everything you see here, for example, with the vehicle, because here telephone, you can connect your phone via Bluetooth. This one here, the connect, you can go to Apple CarPlay, for example, for your cable connection then. But even more interesting here to show you is the vehicles, because seats, you can have the seat massage, and it really feels great if you go for the relaxing massage, for example, like activating now. And it's really that you do feel that very much, and it's the best in the E-Class, I think. Lately we've shown you the S-Class, or it was a Maybach concept in the CES, which also had this vibrating, like the music was playing and then you had also vibrating in the whole seat. That was even better, but that's a concept so far. This one here, so far, one of the best seat massages there is. Optional feature, of course, as always. The dynamic select, you can individually configure different data and also suspension, but easier it is just to pick the different driving modes, also with a good visualization right there with the car. You see there's also a Coupé displayed, and especially when I turn on the car, then you can better see it also in the display. So here, for example, Sport Plus, then see all the engine or the suspension, steering. You can set individual or Sport Plus. Everything goes to sport mode, stiffer suspension, stiffer steering, more response from the engine. Sport would be a little bit less than, a little bit more easy again. Comfort, everything on the air suspension set to comfort. 3 suspensions, basic, adaptive and air suspension, are available here. This one here, the E400, equipped with the air suspension. And we can also lift up the car, for example, and put it down again for basement garage ramps. Then put in the reverse camera. What a crystal clear resolution, that's great. And on the right side, if we would have our co-driver door closed, then you would also see the fake drone view from above. And here we go, and even they've created, painted those power dome highlights on the hood. Very nicely done. So the Coupé is 9 centimeters shorter than the E-Class sedan, but it has of course more space in the rear than a C-Class Coupé. And here is the electric mechanism. The seat goes up a little bit and all the way forward. And together, if you lower the windows, then the entry is fairly easy. That's okay for a Coupé. We had it worse so far. And well, it's reasonably comfortable here. Also the roofline raises again a little bit, so with 1.86 m or 6'1", I can still sit here and place just a flat hand over my head. That's a surprise, I would say. And if I put the seat back again, I'm always a little bit afraid of those situations. Let's see how far it goes. And wow, that really works. So that was the position when I was driving. So this is really a Coupé where you can drive with 4 adults, even some room in front of my knees still. So you can see right here, still some room in front of my knees. That's really a surprise for a Coupé, but I mean, it's also a long car, but they have worked especially on that. And then also interesting, you can lower and higher the windows from the rear part, just the rear window, and also seat heating for the rear seats, again, as an optional feature. So here the E-Class Coupé does have this flip mechanism of the logo. Whoa, comes pretty suddenly then. And here we go. And then you can also release the seats here and here. In general, the trunk, well, for a Coupé, I think you do have reasonable space. Why not? And below here, you can, I'm not sure if you can optionally get a replacement tire. It does not look like it would be really fitting in there. And then interesting, you have to go around and then you can flip the seats here. Here we go. And then, well, you can also have this ski hatch in the middle part. So that's also possible. So you have different setup. You can have a split, leave it one in the middle, or you can also have it here like this, or also the fully flipped setup. And well, you have more space, of course, in the sedan and even more in the T model or the Estate. But here, still a Coupé you can use for some transport. So what's under the hood? In general, there's a 2-liter petrol engine with 84 horsepower, mainly for Germany or Europe. 2-liter with 245 horsepower. And this one here, 3-liter V6 with 333 horsepower, the E400. Later on, this one here, see, it's not a real AMG engine. It's an AMG-Line, just not an AMG engine. There will be an E50. It's being said, so no E43, no E63, something in between. And then there's also diesel, 2-liter diesel with 194 horsepower. Let's start with the riding. Good view to the side, no B-pillar. And we will start with an agile part. With the comfort mode, Autobahn riding and, assistant features later. Let's start in Sport Plus. Oh, nice. Steering wheel is very natural feeling. It's not too progressive. So you see, I have to do some steering work. 6-cylinder here. 333 horsepower, gives me good power, so the E400 is already a very sporty vehicle. Coupé sits 50 millimeters lower than the normal E-Class, definitely a sportier feeling than in the sedan. You can rather compare it already with the E43 sedan. Of course, the E43 then again has even more sporty appearance and also more sporty than old Landy. Definitely a very fun ride here. Also check the digital speedometer in the front. I have shown you earlier the different modes for that one. But what you do feel, for example, if you compare it to a C-Class, it is a heavier car, that you're feeling for sure. So you feel the weight you have to carry around the corners. So I would definitely say, yeah, there's still some air left to an E43. So you can also check out the review in the E43 sedan we had earlier. That was really amazing also for the handling. So there's still some air left. And I mean, some air left is good to say, because we're driving with the air suspension here. In the Sport Plus mode, the suspension is a little bit stiffer, but still, if you want it as sporty as possible, you should not go with the air suspension, but with the not with the air body control, but with the dynamic body control, because that is then no air suspension, but an adaptive suspension. You know, again, 3 suspensions available: normal, adaptive one, and the air suspension. That's in that order. Oh, did you hear the plop plop from the exhaust? It's direct, dynamic, and air. That's, you know, those ones are the 3 suspensions. And you know, if you're really hammering the throttle here and taking the car to the corners, then the air suspension is not the best choice. However, you will also later experience the Autobahn riding part, then the comfort plays more in effect. So I really have to say, with the air suspension here and the E400 setup, it's not the most fun to ride this car around the corners. For such a huge car, it is already fun, yes, of course, but I had so much more fun with the E43 sedan. And well, a comparable model will be an E50 probably. So our information is that there will not be an E43 and not an E63 Coupé, that the Coupé and the convertible will get an E50, something in between. That one should probably then the curving Hunter model. Here again, the best also for this corners is, for example, in sport mode is a good compromise. It's not as stiff and RPMs are not turned up that high. Then, for example, in sport mode you can already relax a little bit. You have good comfort, but still the air suspension gives you a little bit more feeling to the road. That would, for example, be a good mode then for those corners. See here again, if I do some slalom, again, natural feeling, but not as progressive as the steerings in the whole Volkswagen Corporation. If you think about VW, Audi, and the Porsche cars, for example, there you have to steer less. Also, I've found that even if you compare it to BMW, they sit somewhere in between. But here at Mercedes, they have somehow the philosophy that you have to steer a little bit more, a little bit further. I rather prefer it if it's a little bit more progressive, a little bit more direct. Some others might say, you know, I want to have some more play in the steering wheel, want to have it more direct. So the air suspension is really a dream as a suspension if you don't want to have the sportiest ride. But even here, if I'm driving normal sporty, not really hammering it, you know, till the very end, then it's a nice, relaxed, but sporty ride at the same time. So I think that's what you can expect from this car. Luxury first, sportiness second. And if you want it sportier, you should really go for the AMG version, which will probably then the E50 here, or an E43 sedan. Or then really say, you know, if I want to have it sportier, then probably go with the C-Class, with the way lighter car than this one. The E really more for even more luxury features, for more comfort. That we can already tell you right now here from this agile riding part. I hope you already enjoyed those riding shots here with the scenery. Surely great to do this stuff here on Autogefühl. So what about some autobahn riding, or in Spain today, so it's not really autobahn but motorway, to show you the long-term comfort of this car and also some of the assistance systems. So we're starting here at about 80 kilometers an hour, and this car is again super silent. The E-Klasse in general. Here we also can see the blind spot monitor. It's a small red triangle in the side mirrors. The E-Klasse surely among the most silent or best insulated cars there is on the market, that's for sure. And I mean, especially when you test in Germany at high autobahn speeds now, you can check the blind spot monitor again. Some cars approaching from rear, there it is, red triangle. Really so silent in here, even at higher speeds. It's really a superb performance insulation wise. We do have the air suspension here, and that means superb riding comfort as well. So we have the different driving modes we can set the car to. At the moment I'm in the comfort mode, and the car's really flying over the road. Always when there's a bump or maybe some tilting to the right and left, it's like, it's not like this would be unstable, it's really a good flying feeling. So it's really amazing. And air suspension could be bad if you want to keep the car for a very long time and want to maintain low costs, and because when an air suspension has to be replaced at some point after a lot of years and you're out of the warranty, then it might get very expensive. However, if you think, I don't care so much about those costs, or I have a leasing contract for 2 or 3 years, then it might be a good invest for even more comfort. The other suspensions are also great, but the air suspension here is really superb in the riding comfort. The E-Klasse in general, no matter if sedan, convertible, coupe, one of the most comfortable cars there is at the moment. Especially here, I mean, I can be so silent in my voice, I don't have to raise it at all, and so relaxing. The seating position is also very relaxing. Seat form also pleases tall drivers, while longer rides, that's no problem. The E400, this engine here is also really silent if you keep it at lower RPMs, but it has always enough power for overtaking maneuvers, for example. And you can also shift it back here. For example, if we're now at 100, when I overtake this truck in front of me, I can shift back then with the pedals here. 9-speed G-tronic, 5th gear, for example. A very sonorous sound, not too much, not too exaggerated, but still powerful. When I go back more in the gears, I really like it. And I don't want to screw off all the neighbors or all other cars around me, don't want to annoy someone, but still have a very nice refined sound. And the E400 is, I think, a good solution for that. So I can show again the acceleration, or if I let the automatic do the downshifting, for example, from 100 to 120, and that goes really fast. And that was already 128. So you see enough power reserves there. Consumption here on the Autobahn and some accelerations in between. At the moment at 8.9 liters. So let's say 9 liters on 9 liters on 100 kilometers. And you can easily translate that 9 liter / 100 km in mpg. Then you also have the mpg figure. As for the assistance systems, of course they're again all optional, like the double digital instruments. You can go, for example, with the Distronic Plus, which then can be equipped optional with the autopilot or drive pilot as they call it. And theoretically you could leave your hands off the steering wheel. It does work also to keep you in the lane. You should not do that. I'm just demonstrating here now that it does work. And after a while the car says, hey, don't do that, please take the steering wheel, because regulations are not that far yet that it would work on a legal sense. So you see, the technology is already there, the regulations have to follow. Of course, you as a driver, you are still responsible the whole time. Now, head-up display and in the display in the lower part, both telling me, please keep the hands on the steering wheel again, otherwise the program would be cancelled. And we have already shown that in the E-Class sedan, the system is even that evolved that you can do lane changes with it. So for example, now I want to go to the right lane. You see it here. I could leave my hands on the steering wheel, but here to show you that the lane change is really working. You see, that's really very well done. Now, by the way, the car realized, I didn't see it myself actually, that there's another speed limit, then it's automatically adjusted. So GPS data and camera data are working together there, and then the speed is automatically adjusted. But in this case, I did not really see an 80 sign. Other cars also seem to be riding faster. I mean, it's not saying that it is working 100% all the time. Here, 100 sign, yeah, change to 100 now again, that is correct. You see here again, keeping the car inside the lane and also pretty much in the middle. But the real using of the system is that you keep the hand at the steering wheel and then you can just relax. You don't have to be like stressed, oh, I have to keep it, oh. So just relax and then the car will do half of the work for you. I think it's really a very evolved system which comes close to a fully autonomous drive, and that's surely the point where everything will evolve from. I would also be satisfied with the analog instruments and the smaller screen. As for the GPS, well, you can very well see that. You can also have the information in the head-up display. At the moment I'm seeing speed and the speed of the Distronic or drive pilot, and also the maximum allowed speed in the central screen. Do the lane change here again, magic. Here we go. Really, really impressive, isn't it? A little bit scary, but you know, when you did it sometimes, it's not scary, that scary anymore. So we're at 120, and again, so extremely silent in this car. I can just stress that. As for the visibility, by the way, you know, the rear window is very flat and does not leave so much area, and therefore also the view to the rear is a little bit limited, but still okay. Cannot argue about that much. As we do not have a B-pillar, the view to the sides is very good. That's no problem. Also to the top, to the panoramic windscreen. The only thing is that the A-pillar is quite strong here, and also in combination to the triangle of the side mirror, let's say side mirror neighbor here from the A-pillar. This can be, and you sit quite low in this car, and you know this car also sits 50 millimeters lower than the sedan, so that sometimes gives you impression that you do not have the best visibility to, you know, to the transition between left and front. So 120 here again. We can also take the different riding modes. Also here, like for example, Sport Plus would be the sportiest. Then you're already here. Car shifts down. Better reaction then also from the automatic gearbox. This will then also increase the consumption. Also the electronic stability control is drawn back in the Sport Plus mode. I can also not use, well, here it's possible. You sometimes it was not possible to use some of the assistance systems, but it seems it works here, because also when I went to the Sport Plus mode, let's see, I think interesting. So that's possible, you know. So in some cars we tested, it was not possible to test to give you the full assistance systems when you are in the very sporty mode. But here it's obviously also possible. That's pretty interesting. So sport mode would not be that extreme, but still, I mean, usually you keep it in the comfort mode. The sporty mode, of course, when you have some winding roads and want to have fun, a little bit more support from the air suspension, that's of course a good choice for those. All in all, such a comfortable car, great Evolve assistance systems. The engine, I can really recommend you that one. I mean, around 8 or 9 liters. Now we were 8.5 again. Driving rather calmly on the Autobahn. I can really just say if we have small turbo engines, you know, at the moment we were also driving 1.4 liter Volkswagen Tiguan. That is 8 liters in consumption. So Citroen Cactus, a couple of Citroen Cactus on the car train. So I mean, here 3 liter, 6 cylinder, so it's okay for the consumption really. So it shows again that downsizing is not really a solution to get lower consumption. You can also score an okay consumption with this petrol engine here. Probably then also do not really need the diesel engines, and our friends in the US, they will mostly care indeed, as I said earlier, about the E400. That's probably the engine then for the E-Klasse Coupé in the US for sure. So this was the motorway ride. And now to our conclusion, Autogefühl with the Mercedes E-Klasse Coupé, or the E-Klasse, as we say in Germany, as a coupé form. What a beauty! So beautiful in my opinion. I want to hear your opinion as well, so put it down there in the comments. I think especially with this diamond pin grille, I mean, then probably in a Thomas blue color, that would be really a perfect coupé for me. However, if a vehicle is available also as a convertible, I would always go for the convertible, and of course on Autogefühl you will also see the E-Klasse convertible. We can then also link it. But already right now we have sedan in different versions, the T model or Estate, E43, E63, we will all link those ones in the video description, so check those ones as well. But our verdict here, exterior great, interior, what a nice styling. You do not have to get all the biggest screens there. It's not really totally necessary. You can also live with the basic functions. That's no problem. Already some C-wheel stuff there in their standard equipment. And great choices in general for the standard seat options with fabric and Alcantara and leatherette use. So Mercedes is among the leading premium manufacturer brands. You've probably lately seen the new Range Rover Velar that is also introducing now a mix of fabric and microfiber seats in a high luxury trim level. So it's going further. It's developing definitely. Then the rest of the interior, really huge infotainment stuff. So you can do everything, massage function, so much comfort, and the driving is really all about silence and comfort. It's the same basically than for the E-Klasse sedan. There's hardly any other car that can match the comfort and the sound insulation of the all-new Mercedes E-Klasse, so in this generation here, and that's what the same with the Coupé. In the E400, it's already a very powerful vehicle and more than enough power. Suspension-wise and how it behaves like rolling corners and also winding roads, I would not recommend it as a true sports Coupé. Then you should rather wait for the E50 or then go for an E43 sedan, for example, or then take a C-Class Coupé to have a little bit more sportiness in your life. This one here, if you want to spend more money, if you want more luxury, more comfort, then with the C-Class. If you want it sportier, then go for the sportier versions of the car, or go back for the C-Class. I mean, the C-Class Coupé looks pretty similar, doesn't it? And it's really more about size and price. This one here, of course, already has its size. You can use it, for example, if you're driving with maybe people in the rear. There's not too much space, but for a coupé, surely reasonable one. A C Coupé is surely just a single two-seater, that's for sure. So that's about differences for all the different versions. Hope you enjoyed this episode here together with us, with Autogefühl, and also tune in to the other E-Class videos that we link for you here. Thank you very much for watching. Tune in next time.